people. You know, this is why we're here. We're fighting for our freedom. Like I said, we're fighting for freedom of our next generation as children. And since we're on a conversation of children again, in schools they released the 3 options for the public education system in Ontario to open. There's a strict one, there's one with whatever regulations. Anyway, long story short, we really have to make a push. So I put a box, spread it around the crowd, take it. This is updated flyers for defining masks regulations. This is one, the original, we just changed the colors a little bit to be a little bit more friendly. And then the back actually is completely changed. So there's 6 reasons why masks are dangerous for your health. So these actually do work. Chris already told you about the t-shirt that worked for a child with a mom to take off the masks. I have people constantly messaging me that they go into the stores, they're giving this to people. These flyers don't work every single time, of course. However, they work enough times for us to keep doing it. And more than anything, we have to do it more. We have to make sure that these flyers are distributed, especially in Toronto and GTA where you are at. There's one box over here, I put one box over there. So where you are, grab it. I have another box by the water under the tree. But spread it around, we'll get you more flyers. We got more shirts as well if you need. So the flyers work, and think of this, guys. This is a seed of doubt that we need to plant to the people. The best strategy to have is to come from compassion with people that are unfortunately been brainwashed by this government. The government's been heavy brainwashing people for the last now over 3 months, unfortunately. And many of you know my story. I come from Soviet Union. I was born in Soviet Union. I was 11 years old when Soviet Union collapsed. Already by that, I was heavily indoctrinated in the Soviet Union propaganda. So I can see this stuff a mile away when it comes at us. A lot of people here are coming from Soviet Union or around the block or communist countries and whatnot. We know what the tyrannical governments are. We know when they're brainwashing people to accept the new reality. The history will repeat itself unless we stop it. It's our responsibility to stop so the history doesn't repeat itself. Around Bolshevik revolution in Soviet Russia, I discussed this before, but I'll say it because it's that important. Same thing as in Nazi Germany. The first step that we always do is censorship and propaganda. How much of that have we been exposed to in the last now almost 4 months? Heavy censorship and heavy propaganda. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Step number 2, they taken away the guns. They did that in Soviet Russia, they did that in Nazi Germany, banning the guns. What this government, dictator JT, I call him hashtag dictator GT, did during the pandemic, by the stroke of a pen, he signs the law to ban 1,500 different types of guns. Now, let me get this straight. It doesn't matter if you're pro-gun or you're for pro-gun control. What really should be concerning to every single Canadian in this country, how that was done. It was not done in a democratic country that we are. It was done with a stroke of a pen without any debate that was necessary to make sure that this legislation is actually represents the Canadians. Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Step number 3, what they did in Soviet Russia before the revolution and now right after, and in Nazi Germany, they suppressed business class. Specific business class was suppressed. Why are we doing that? Because people in that sector are free thinkers. People in that sector don't like to be told what to do. People in that sector don't accept the status quo. How do you control that sector? You economically suppress them first. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We are all essential. Step number 4. And they did that, and you learn so much, unfortunately, with history, and it's really repeating itself. They did that in Nazi Germany. In Nazi Germany, they were euthanizing disabled people. I'll repeat. In 1930s, in Nazi Germany, they were euthanizing, in other words, killing in a hospital, disabled people. Do you know what's the justification for that practice? We need to create space in our hospitals. I said this I guess now 3 months ago, what took place in long-term care homes in Ontario specifically, and across Canada, and unfortunately across many countries around the world, is a genocide of our own elderly people.
That's right!
They did not take care of them. In other words, they not just didn't take care of them, they purposely created a situation to keep infecting people in those places. They took infected people with this virus from the hospitals and they put them in long-term care homes. So the people would infect everyone in there. It happened in New York City, in New York State, it happened in the province of Ontario. Enough is enough. Guess what happens after? Forceful confinement. Step number 4, right? Or 5? It makes sense. 5. Thank you for keeping on track. So step number 5 is forceful confinement. Guess what we have now? Mandatory quarantine for people that supposedly have this virus. Please understand, this virus is so many times false positive. There's actually lawsuits against the government because the tests are false positive. Sometimes people have to do tests many times to get a positive, and it's not even that. So now we have a forceful confinement for people. Never in the history of the world we had healthy people quarantined. We call them asymptomatic people for a reason, because they don't want to use the actual term, which is called healthy people. When you don't have any symptoms, you're a healthy person. You have a healthy immune system. Like, it boggles my mind. Please do your part explaining this to other people. When a virus has a 99% survival rate, 99.8% survival rate, how on earth the top medical expert of this country, Dr. Tam, can say that there's no ability for people to get rid of this virus, there's no immunity health for these people? How on earth can we have a recovery rate of 99.8%? We shut down the whole world for the virus. That's death rate is 0.24. Now, when somebody tells you, what do you mean? This doesn't come from me. This has come from CDC. The government organization of the United States, the Center for Disease Control, actually claims that now. This is not my statistic. This is Center for Disease Control in the United States. The death rate for this virus is 0.24. We shut down the whole world for that. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Now, let me give you very good information to follow that statistic or that percentage. Do you know what's the death rate from the flu shot? 0.6. Death rate from the flu shot is 0.7. This is from CDC, Center of Disease Control of the United States. A death rate from the flu shot is 0.7. And that's considered to be acceptable? No way. To give this to people? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Now, point number 6. I'll try to stay on track. Point number 6 is to defund the police. They did that in Nazi Germany. They did that in Nazi Germany so they can introduce the brown shirts. The SS officers were introduced once the police was defunded, so they would not fight against the oppression of the people of their own country. We must help our police officers. I want to thank our police officers here today. I want to thank peace officers of this legislation land. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing to keeping our city safe. We respect you and we appreciate everything that you're doing for this city. If you don't know, the reason why we're here, this is the legislation land of Ontario. That's why the peace officers over there are actually different from the police of the city. Now, both of those organizations helping us to make sure that we're safe and we're able to do this. So again, big round of applause for both.